I had the misfortune once of addressing the trustees of Tacoma Community College. The reason I characterize that as a misfortune, because while the arrangements were intended to seem very fair to everybody got a minute or two. There was this feeling that nothing you say was really valued or of any importance, that some formality was going on. Or another way of putting it would be that no one would recognize anything important that was being said, even if it was important. They wouldn't be able to psychologically. Reminds me of a story about Abraham Lincoln's reputed most famous speech. He was so eloquent that all the reporters there decided to leave it to the others to record it, and nobody did. There's no record of what Martin Luther King said in Forbes Field in Pittsburgh in 1962. I'm not saying what I had to say was all that important. It does have to do with a perspective problem about the world. It was about whether to save the back 40 for the ecology program, or tear it up and use it for soccer fields. We're not doing a very good job saving the world. And anything that's good that comes from genocide is outweighed by the terrible destruction of children's lives, of heritage, faith, of the progress we could have made if we had gone some other way. But for sure, everybody now realizes that the Palestinians are much better people than the Israelis. For sure. The disproportional response against innocent people can't be credited in any way. Hamas didn't even represent those people very well, from what I can see. It's reasonable to be suspicious that there was something inside job about it, like Netanyahu getting in on it, saying this will give us a chance to clear out Gaza and exploit it for its riches and beauty for ourselves. You know, he was getting pretty chummy with the UAE and Saudi Arabia. They might have had influence over Hamas. Joe Biden was in a position of responsibility to consider those facts. That rabid chimpanzee gave them firepower, for God's sakes. What a criminal. What a moron. Inexcusable. Where does it fit in with me? I was tortured as a child by the organized Zionists of the community who just wanted to make sure they hated me. They wanted to see me weak and crying so they could spit hate at me. And the gangsters of Appalachia said, we think their views have merit. And they gave this guy, Peter Gabriel, the book about what they did to me. And he made up this song and dance about a girl I had largely forgotten to explain Mount Desert Island. She was gone and forgotten largely by Mount Desert Island. I found a weird thing that had happened to me. Girl I dated for a long time who, we agreed to let go making love, forego it. And then they were made, when I got brokenhearted, they made a big laugh out of me. Peter Gabriel put the whole thing together in his interconnectedness to sell his story. While they were bombing Iraq and stuff. Oh, the Muslims wouldn't like you, Jimmy, is what they were saying. Muslims would hate you because you had a one-night stand with a Louis. And Seattle's going to get even. They're going to poison your food. Has to be done. There's no other way. Robert Kennedy's going to build his ark. Yeah, he's going to come. He's going to come swinging like an Amazon. He's going to build an ark with his lynch Confederates. There's no other way, Jimmy. Well, that's the background it plays out against, but we're talking about the murder of children. Yep. They go shooting up schools, 6 or 7, 19 kids get killed, and it's a horrible thing. It's a disgrace to the United States of America. Much worse than the terrible things being done in Iran. Much worse. Much more bloody, catastrophic, traumatizing, and evil. And then they go out and do it to 20,000 kids. Now, 20,000 kids, just as beautiful, just as interesting, just as worthwhile, just as happy-go-lucky, just as lovely, just as decent, just as smart, just as courteous, just as productive as any of our children. They come up with the worst, most ghastly things they can think of to do it too. And then Biden says, I'm one of them in public. Says, I'm a Zionian, or whatever they call those weird freak-out people who torture children in the East End of Pittsburgh. And then sell the story to Peter Gabriel, who already knows the soundtrack he wants to spin for Jeffin, who's, of course, a Zionian, Zionista. And he'll carping, oh, the Virgin of AIDS. The Virgin of AIDS was soiled by his anti-groovy letter. He was the anti-John Lennon. Nobody thinks anything stupid and weird about that. They clamp down on our ability to get press reports from the bizarre attack on Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan. Bizarre. And they're all interconnected with the murder of the Kennedys. And they have a book they call the Texas School Book. They put on their spinner beanies and say it has merit. Because Queerbo ain't gonna be no walrus, says Ringo Starr. That was a trophy. It was a beautiful kid, you know. They figured we could make a laugh out of him and rob him and steal from him. And they call ourselves Zionists and our Joe Biden spinner beanies. And who are we gonna elect? You can want to elect someone else. Go pick Robert Kennedy. Go pick Donald Trump. They was in on it. Ooh. And they say this evil idiocy has merit. Because it's a way of clapping themselves on the back for being completely incompetent. Completely incompetent. Not worth a nickel. Their leadership isn't worth a nickel. Who the hell could do a worse job than Joe Biden? Nobody. He gets, the moronic chimpanzee gave munitions to those people to dump on Gaza. Forget about it. That's why I say it's a misfortune to talk to you stupid people. It is one. It's a misfortune to have to talk to you.